Hello Reddit. What was your oh shit, I'm the bad guy moment? I blew a tic tac through a straw into an old guy's face who was working at a car park booth when I was about 12 and still feel terrible about it a decade and a half later. After being a bit of a tear away and trying to get my shit together in school, I told off a kid for wearing a hat that the school uniform didn't allow. I later learned he was wearing the hat because he'd lost his hair to chemo. Did not feel good. One time I got pissed because I overheard my parents who adopted me talking about going on a trip to the beach. They both knew I had never been. Told my mom how disappointed and pissed I was. Turns out they were planning a surprise trip for me to go to the beach. I felt so bad. I was screaming at my nephew a lot when he did something bad. I realized I was flying off the handle when I didn't need to be, when a calm talk would work better and not upset him or make him feel so bad. And I realized it wasn't just that he was being super bad, just a bit naughty, and kids aren't robots. I haven't screamed since the night I realized it, and while I may raise my voice, I keep that to a minimum and collect myself and calmly discuss things with him as much as possible. I still feel really guilty, but I'm trying to be better to him, and so far it's been going well. So, I was driving my car into a roundabout, doing nothing wrong, not cutting up any other drivers, driving at a safe, slow speed, and suddenly honk from another driver. I look up and there is a taxi about to join the roundabout and the driver staring straight at me. FFS, I think. These guys think they own the road. Now you're not even allowed to enter the roundabout when they want to. In my own defense, I was having a bad day, so I did something I would never normally do. I slowed my car down to a crawl and gave him the finger, maintaining eye contact for several seconds, turning to look over my shoulder at him so as to keep up the finger and the eye contact for as long as possible. The look of astonishment on his face at getting the finger from this respectably dressed woman was priceless. As I exited the roundabout, honk again, but this time I realized the sound had been from a commercial playing on the car radio. It must be tough being a taxi driver. Heard someone calling my friend Richard Dick without knowing Dick was a nickname, so I got all defensive. Then I realized I was being a jackass. I was out of town and I went into a frozen yogurt place I'd never seen before with so many flavors. I kept asking for sample cups until I'd tried like 20 of them and was only halfway. It was amazingly fun. I heard a parent giving a lecture to their kids who wanted to copy me about how we don't act like that man, and by ours, that just ruined it for me. So I dropped a $10 in their tip jar and left. Well, yesterday I was on a 100 road and a cattle truck was going 60. I got pissed off and flashed my lights at him, and he put his indicator on and slowed down as we were approaching a turnoff. I thought, yes, he's going, I can get in front of him now, but he instead drove back onto the road and continued going 60. So I flashed my lights again and he put the blinker on again. We repeated this 4 times before I realized he was trying to let me go past him. Some bastards kept pulling into my driveway to turn their car around and ripping up a huge chunk of my grass in the process. One day it's raining really hard and I back out of my driveway as usual, but I have to get out of my car to move the trash can. That's when I see my front wheel freshly covered in chunks of grass and mud, along with a huge star track going straight from the torn grass in my yard to my front wheel. Turns out I'm the bastard who has been ripping up my own grass for like a year. It was a real Sixth Sense moment. Except no ghosts, just grass ripping bastards. Once playing snowball, my friend ducked to dodge my shot and I perfectly headshot an old woman. A guy was following me down the highway as I left my college's parking lot, night class, and he kept honking, flashing his brights, and tailgating me, so I gave him the finger about 4 separate ways. He pulled up next to me, and I even mimed looking around inside my bag for something before pulling out a middle finger. I opened the glove box and pulled out a middle finger. I went all out. Guess whose headlights weren't on? I never did make friends at the military, was there for 3 years after high school. I always thought they were bad people because they never invited me to anything. We didn't talk much. They always ghosted me. But you know the saying, if you meet an asshole, they are an asshole. If you only meet a bunch of assholes, then you are the asshole is very true. One guy I dated, I went out of my way to do everything perfectly, to an obsessive level. From dates, to small talk, cuddling, social interactions with his friends, and supporting him in any way I could. It was only after we broke up that I realized I wasn't going the extra mile because I cared, but because I had a deep-seated need to prove I was a superior one in the relationship. It was then, in fact, I realized I was the baddie. Girlfriend bought candy for trick-or-treaters 2 weeks before Halloween. Over the next 2 weeks I ate almost all of the candy. We had to give out Asian candy with flavors most kids around here wouldn't have heard of, like purple yam, calamansi, and tamarind. Every time I argue with my parents I always realize the day after or so that I was a bad guy. I have this bad habit of pushing people into finishing arguments instead of letting them take time to cool off, because it makes me feel better. Every time, after it then spirals uncontrollably into a screaming match, I know I'm definitely the asshole, even if it didn't start out that way. This is mild in comparison to some of these, but my boyfriend and I were studying at the library during exam time, and he got up to go to the coffee shop to get a drink and a donut. He sat back down and ate his donut over the span of a couple of minutes, and I just sat there and waited for him to offer me a piece, the way I would certainly offer him one. He didn't, and it was done, and I got pretty annoyed with him and what I perceived to be a lack of generosity/kindness. I sulked about it, and it caused a small argument, and I only realized I fucked up when I told my therapist about the situation, and she just asked, "And how did you expect him to know you wanted any of his donut?" Had a coworker come in with a really amateur and shitty attempt at a mohawk, and we'd been really close before, so I just straight up said my mind, "Dude, your hair looks like shit." Turns out he had gone to 3 barbers because it just kept getting worse and worse, and he genuinely got upset, and the next day he just shaved his entire head. Sorry, Duke. People stopped liking me at the strip club I worked at and would ignore me. I was pissed because it was people that usually talked to me. Realized when I would get blackout drunk I said really insulting shit to everyone, and even got into fights I don't really remember. I ended up getting banned from that particular club